What's up, Metal Summoners? It is so great to see you guys. Always really, really appreciative of you guys. And first and foremost, a very happy Thanksgiving to all of you Metal Summoners, all of your family, all of your friends, and all of your fans. Thank you guys so much, as always, for tuning in during this holiday season. We got a good one for you tonight. We're going to rock and roll for a little bit, and we'll let everybody have some quality time with their families. But welcome back to your Island of Misfit Toys, myself and Angel, and it is another episode of the Alumnus Show. We absolutely love that because we cannot be speaking on behalf of myself and Angel. Like, honestly, we can never be more appreciative than when an artist is down to come back onto the show, because that means we did it right. That means they had a good time, they felt respected, and they're down for some more great conversation. So what do you say, Metal Summoners? Are you guys feeling a little bit of that wicked sensation? Because we got Chad Michaels right back on the show. Welcome back, my friend. It is so good to see you, and welcome back to TMS.
Thanks for having us back, man. I really appreciate you having us back on, and happy to talk with you guys.
Absolutely, man. Well, we'll jump right into it, man. First and foremost, it's been a little bit since you guys were in Baltimore, and we all got to hang out as a group and do a little live action that we did out by your guys' bus, as well as you guys playing when you were out with Raven and Vicious Rumors. So first and foremost, man, talk a little bit about that tour. How did it go, and how's everything going right now in the Wicked camp?
Honestly, a lot of it is a blur, but all jokes aside, that tour was a really, really good time, a really good learning experience for the Wicked Boys, and just a good experience to get out and get in markets like throughout the United States that we've never hit before. But at the same time, meeting fans of ours that we would have never met before, you know? So it's like, you're in New Mexico, you're in Arizona, or, somewhere in Texas, and you got these fans who come up and like, I've been following you since, 2014. And we have some of the original merch they're wearing at, the same time. And it's like, this is so special, like this is what we came out here to do is not only to make new fans, but to meet the fans that we never got to meet before. Yeah. And, we get to play a lot of our new music and whatnot, and explore a lot of new cities. I got to ride a bull in Texas, probably in every city in Texas, like 4 cities. And I fell off within like a minute 30 every single time. So I gotta get a little bit better on that. But, and then, all the way up to the West Coast, like we did the Whiskey A Go Go. We met some pretty cool people out there, and a lot of really, really cool fans, and they all came out to the show at the Whiskey and made it a really special event. And then we hit San Francisco, and then just back clockwise again throughout. We actually hit our hometown in Rochester, dude. It was one of the best experiences that we've had of playing shows in general. And we were stuck in like a 30-foot RV together, and we were driving from one show to the next city every single day. We maybe had at the most 5 days off in between like certain shows. So like you would have a day off in between, like, going from New Orleans to Texas. And then you would be playing every Texas show each night. So you're traveling, hours on end. So what we would do is we would load in, play the show, load out. Someone would drive. We would go to a Planet Fitness, sleep there through the night, the rest of the night that there was. Wake up in the morning, go to Planet Fitness, work out, shower, go to the gig again, load in, load out, and then over and over again. But it was one of the most humbling experiences that we've had, and it was so fun. It came so natural to us. We're just ready to do it again.
Absolutely, brother. 100% for sure, man. And it's crazy when, you look back at, OG Wicked fans and stuff like that, because I mean, it's hard enough to, to get a band together that wants to stay together. It's hard enough, and expensive just simply to put out, a song, let alone an album, let alone series of albums. You guys are, a decade now of being in a band. I mean, that's an accomplished feat in its own. And how do you look at that now? Because once you hit like a milestone of, 10 years, that's when you really can start fondly or even sometimes unfondly looking back at things, lessons learned, experiences you've had so far. 10 years into Wicked, how are you looking at that right now?
Honestly, it's been nothing but progression. It's been nothing but good experiences, and I will say it honestly, it all comes down to family. And that's what this group is, where we've become, whoever walks into the Wicked group, we've had a drummer, previously, back when we first started, and things, obviously, they didn't work out very well. He had some health issues, and we ended up finding this drummer that, at the time, like, we joke about it all the time in interviews. We hated him because he was like the local legend, and he was maybe 15 minutes away from where Danny and I lived. But he showed up to the audition with blonde hair. He knew what he was doing, and he wanted to be part of it. He had that drive, and he wanted to be part of something that was, authentic and original. And so we, I'm pretty sure we talked about this, but and that's what makes Wicked the kind of like the people that we are, is we just automatically, we know we're going to become family, we're going to become close. And and I think that's what really kept us together. But like, we do it right. We all moved in together. We bought a house, we built a studio in the basement. I mean, and I'm not talking about just like, a subpar studio, a legit studio. Yeah. Our 10-time Grammy-winning producer helped us build the studio in the basement to the, specs that he thought that was going to be good enough. And we recorded The Last American Rock Band and Sunburn down there. Yeah. And those albums sound massive. And we're rehearsing every night. We're writing maybe every other night. I mean, that's what keeps a band together. It's that dedication. It's the drive. It's the hunger. It's, the will to want to do this with the four core guys that you started this with. And, 10 years, maybe more than that. Danny and I started this maybe 12 years ago. And honestly, it has a lot to do with just having that hunger, that drive. And we found the right people who fit in with that notion. And we're just lucky enough that, we got the right guys. We got the family,
Absolutely, man. 100%. Angel, let's kick it up to you, my man. On that same note, fans, just wanted to get you guys a heads up that we're going to rock out with Chad for a half hour today. So we're going to rock till about 9:40. Just want you guys to keep that in mind when you're pumping in questions, comments, anything you want him to ask, anything you want to ask him, anything you want him to answer. Just keep that in mind, my friends. Angel, my dude, it's all you.
Hey, I just want to say thank you, man, so much for your time. The music. One thing I love about Wicked, and along with the other bands as well, is that nowadays, y'all look like fucking rock stars. And I want to say thank you for that, and I'm going to tell you why. I was a teenager during the pussy era of rock. When bands wanted to look like Hootie and the Blowfish. That's fine. But I like you guys to look like fucking rock stars on stage. When we were at the Whiskey, the band's opening for King and Valentina, Illusions, Jay, correct me on that one.
Yeah, I got you, buddy. Illusions of Grandeur.
I'm bad with pronunciations. And another band that was opening, they look like rock stars on stage. They look like stuff out of a comic book. And that's what I love about Wicked right now, is that you guys, look like rock stars. Matt, thanks for watching. The video for Hellraiser is fantastic. Is chat calling in from a church?
Actually, my parents, their front room that nobody ever gets to sit in. That's the room I'm in right now. Hold on, I'm gonna give you a little.
Hold on, let me fix the layout.
Yeah, so we get a little bit of that. Hold on, there's some. I'm not gonna give you too much, but there's some seeing your pictures there when we were younger.
It's all good, brother. Yeah, I saw the video for Hellraiser, and I'm like, I was really digging it. Just wondering if you can tell us about the making of the video.
Of course. Really, I mean, something so grassroots about the Hellraiser video is that the song really originated from like the beginning of Wicked, to be honest. And we're like, it's way too good of a song to like just waste away. And we got with our producer, and we started to rearrange the song and made some a few changes and whatnot. And the song is just it is what it is. It's a very heavy, demonic song, but high energy as well. And so we're like, oh, we're gonna reprise this song. We're gonna bring it back out. We're gonna release it. It's part of our roots, and we want to release it because we don't want the fans that followed us from when we started. We don't want them to like not get these songs the way they deserve to listen to them. And so we're like, all right, let's do it up. Let's make sure that it's like the best it could be. And we went in and recorded the song. And we're like, okay, video wise, like we gotta have a video. And I think it was Danny. Danny had an idea. He's like, why don't we do this like weird like concept of like, it's a very simple video. The guys are all in one spot, but you have this like swinging light. And it's almost like you being like either in prison or in like a torture chamber, like that kind of a thing. And I kind of ran with that, like, creatively. Like I was the one that was doing the videoing. I was doing the one that was swinging the lights and doing all the directing. And I actually edited the whole video myself, which we do a lot of our own video editing. But like one of the music videos that I've done myself is this one. And I was actually like pretty proud of it. It's like, a very simple concept, but like it does wonders. Because you have a lot of that aggression, that the movement that you want from the light, and then the amount of like expression that each person has in their faces alone, and you're really focusing on the faces, the guitar, like your guitar section, and then the drums, and that's all you need. And when it all came together, I was like, no, this is pretty badass. I mean, it took us a couple of days to do it, and probably a lot less than it would have normally with a big production crew and whatnot, right? But we had fun doing it. We did it in our basement, in our studio. We just set up a big backdrop and filmed right in front of that, and we had one of those like lights from Lowe's, and I'm just swinging it behind the camera. You would never know, but like. It looks like one of those things, like, you're sitting in one of those dark like prison cells. There's like a light swinging, right? And it gives you that little impression of like some kind of like darkness to it.
When it comes to the songwriting, do you guys collaborate? How what's the dynamic of the songwriting in the band?
Oh yeah. This is always a very fun question, to answer. For us boys, we the thing that sets us aside from, I think, most groups is that we're always writing together. Whether I start the songwriting process, or Scott does, or Danny, or Gunnar. Regardless, like someone's like, "Hey, I have an idea," and we all like. I mean, if you're like cooking dinner, you stop cooking dinner and you're like, you jump right to like, oh, what do you got? And it's like, you leave everything aside. And so we have like a really cool setup in our living room. We have 2 amps for the lead guitar and then the rhythm guitar, an amp for the bass, and then a cajon for the drums. So everybody will pull out their own like, parts and whatnot, and we'll sit down and A lot of the times, like I'll have a rhythm part. I'm like, I got this idea like for the chorus, and Danny will be like, oh, I got this, melody idea, and then he'll be like pacing around the house writing lyrics, and Scott's, working out like lead guitar parts, and then Gunner's working out the rhythm. Within an hour, you've got at least an idea of a song. If not within 2 hours, you have the song done. And that's just rough. Then we take it downstairs and we demo it like as a live band. And that's, I mean, from a songwriting perspective, that's what happens. That's daily for us. Sometimes there's songs that just, that go by the wayside, things that you don't, revisit, but very few far in between for us boys. Like we always want to make sure that we're giving each song a little bit of a reason to be demoed and listened to by the producers, and then that goes into a queue of like 20 something songs, and you say, okay, hey, out of these songs we're gonna make the next record. And it's a really really good method of like how we've established this, where we're never shy of any songs. We always have an abundance of songs, and then we could be like, okay, this song, maybe we could rework it down the road.
So when a song is finished, mixed, and mastered, do you ever have the temptation to go back and change anything? Or are you just satisfied with the finished product?
Honestly, so to give you a little insight on the whole process is like, so once we've done pre-production and have recorded the song, we'll get like an initial mix from our producer, and at that point we're set. We're not going to change anything. And there's things, sometimes as a vocalist myself, like, oh, I could have done a harmony there, could have done a harmony there, could have done this there. But at the same time, I'm like, well, it hit me at that moment, and that's what that's what I had put down at the time and recorded, and I'm gonna trust myself at that time, and what I laid down, because it came naturally. It wasn't something that was like, I'm gonna go back and punch in and add another part that really honestly probably didn't even fit there. But it was something, as a musician, you're always gonna hear other things, no matter what. And you could always say, I could do better there, I could do better here. But that's for the next tracks, man. That's for what's to come. And you take those thoughts and you apply them to your next set of songs that you're writing. And sometimes it's, you're being a little critical on yourself, but sometimes it's just, hey, take a note. This is what I could do better to excel our music and to make sure it keeps, progressing and getting better as we release more music. And I never see having those little, knick-knack things that you're like, oh, I could adjust that or this as a bad thing. I look at it as, this is room for improvement for us. And this is where I can take, the next record and make it 10 times better than what we just released. And not saying that what we released was bad. You always have to relish in when you release a record, that's where you are at that time. And it's always going to be the best that you are at that time, but you're always going to keep getting better. The more you play, the more you record, the more you write, it's, you're always going to get better.
Mm-hmm. And Matt Porter had a question. What editing software are you using? The video looks great.
Oh, Matt, love you, brother. So I'm using Premiere Pro. I know that there's a group that we work with for like the video that we did, like Sunburn and Gorgeous and Lost in the Dark. They use DaVinci, and they're trying to get me to cross over, and eventually I will. But Premiere Pro right now is what I'm using, and it works really well for me. I've got a lot of tools that I can use for you know, a lot of transitions and a lot of color editing, and as well as like obviously like, you know, some audio compression and that kind of stuff. So it's been working pretty good for us. But if you've ever heard of DaVinci, that's something that I've been told that is going to be a lot better.
Cool. What do you like the most about touring, and can you share any cool stories?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of them. Touring is okay. It takes a certain person to kind of get into this like this idealistic manner of like being okay with touring for a period of time. We were on the road for 2 months, and that's a lot for a band that's probably never been on the road for more than 2 weeks. We were stuck in a 30 foot RV together, alternating driving, alternating beds. I mean, there wasn't enough beds for everybody on the crew. So, you know, whoever wasn't sleeping, they were driving or keeping the driver up. And it made it a lot more difficult when, you know, the nights, obviously, most of the nights when you had to go from one city to another, and certain one of those shows, you know, like throughout the tour, you know, it'd be not just 3 hours, it'd be like 6-7 hours, you know. That was the difficult part of it, but the fun part of it was the camaraderie, like of like the group. And, you know, everybody was like firing on all cylinders. Even if we were like deprived of sleep, you're all firing on all cylinders to make one main thing happen, and that's a show. And you want to show up. If 0 people show up to the show, you're playing to MSG no matter what. You're giving it all you got. And that's how like Wicked always, you know, functions. But on this tour in particular, we wanted to make sure that no matter what the outcome was, we wanted to give it everything we got, because we wanted to prove to ourselves that we can make this happen. We can do this. We can stay healthy. We can, you know, do 2 months on the road without any issues, and it went over better than you would ever expect. We had the best time, like visiting each city. We made sure that before and after the show, we were doing as much as we could to at least see some of the city's like beauties and whatnot. Afterwards, sometimes we'd have some fans who'd be like, listen, let's you know, take you guys out to get some drinks and get some food or whatever. And we take them up on it, and we had some really, really great times. I will say one of the funniest moments, I don't know about fun, but one of the funniest moments on tour, we were in Asbury Park in New Jersey, and we stopped at the beach. We've been there before, and Danny's like, "All right, everybody jump into the ocean," and we're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's jolted towards the ocean, and so there's a camera on us in the background. I realized one of the merch girls are like filming, and we're like, do it for the camera. And so we're all jolting towards the ocean, jumping in the middle of the night. It was like, it had to be like 1 o'clock in the morning. And we jump in the ocean, freezing, and didn't realize that we didn't have towels. We didn't have a place to dry off, somewhere to shower until the morning. And so it was like one of the craziest things.
I would call that craziest, because that's the time sharks are actually feeding.
Well, exactly. And I didn't know about that until I had a friend who lives down there, and they're like, "Yeah, that was pretty stupid, dude."
Good publicity.
Exactly, right? Do it for the video.
Get a shark bite. Hey, sharks get wicked.
Hey, at least it's on video, right?
Right. You're like, hey, sharks get wicked.
Exactly, right.
So that still would have been a fun thing.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, there's so many good stories that between like I was saying I was every city in Texas. I was riding a bull. We chased down bars who had the riding bulls and the electronic bulls, and I was trying to see if I could outdo myself every time, and I kept getting worse. And it was just like basically just Gunner and I we kept hunting down those little scooters that you can like rent, the city scooters, and we were like taking them and like jumping them off of like 5-foot like jumps and seeing if like we could like manage to like make sure that they didn't break. We were doing, dude, we did insane stuff on tour, and I can't even begin to tell you like the amount of things that happened, but it was just madness the whole time. But we managed to keep a little bit of our senses, a little bit.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. And look, for the sake of time, we got 2.5 minutes, so I'm going to kick it off to Jay to wrap things up.
Absolutely, man, for sure. So yeah, two things I want to hit up on. One for you guys and for the fans, and one thing for me. And so with 2024 was a great year for you guys. You're coming off of the release of Sunburn. You had your great tour with Raven. How's the rest of this year shaping up? Are you doing dominantly like holiday, family time off kind of thing? And what can you tell us about what 2025 is currently bringing?
Absolutely. So yeah, this week, tonight, actually, all of us boys, we went to our respective families to celebrate Thanksgiving. For tomorrow, we're coming back together on Friday, and we're going to continue to work on some new stuff. We have. I will say, I don't know if I don't get the permission from anybody, and I'm just going to be honest with you. This is going to be exclusive to you guys, 'cause I don't think it's been released. But we have a new single coming out December 13th, as well as a local show in Rochester, New York at the Lux Lounge, 666 South Ave. It's going to be a banger of a show. We're playing 2 hours. So it's going to be a lot of current material that we have and a lot of really new material that we've never played before, just to test out on the community and see what they think. So that's going to be a lot of freaking fun. So if you're in the Rochester area, December 13th, come out. We have a new single coming out. I'm not going to tell you the name yet. You'll see that post coming up very soon. But it's very similar to the whole Hellraiser type of scenario. 2025, we have a lot to look forward to. Right now, we are going to be playing January 23rd in Anaheim, California at the House of Blues with Metal Allegiance. And it's during the week of NAMM, the NAMM convention. If you don't know what NAMM convention is, it's basically a convention for all music related, like instrument companies, gear companies, like you name it, anything for musicians, for producers, for engineers, you need to be at NAMM. And if you don't know what NAMM is, you're living under a rock, figure it out.
Yep.
Get yourself a ticket, show up to there, and go to the shows that are happening during the week. And most particularly, show up to the House of Blues on January 23rd, because Wicked's going to be playing. And we have a killer set, and it's going to just be bombastic, man.
Absolutely. January 23rd. That's 3 days before my birthday, fans.
Hell
So get
yeah.
out there and support on my behalf. maybe I can even swing away to get up there if possible. That would definitely be super duper cool. But then I'm gonna end this one particularly off with a question for me, because like a lot of the metal summoners already know, and like you and I have discussed, like when it comes to me, Salem is home base, and that has actually become a very standard stomping ground for Wicked and all the amazing shows that you guys like to do there. So is Salem, your Salem celebrations going to be like continuing? Were you able to do one this past October? And do you have plans for Salem to be a thing for Wicked in 2025?
So we were just there 2 weeks ago with some friends who live right in the town there. And we got a weekend with them to kind of like just jolt around town, get some good food, like hang out, just enjoy the aftermath of Halloween and all the madness that brings. We did not do a Halloween show this year. We took a break from that just to be with family and whatnot. But there's a lot more to come with Salem. There's a lot of talks about shows that we could do there in the area in Peabody. And if we do, you better be there, dude. We are going to be promoting that pretty big, but there's a lot of opportunities that we have coming up right now that we're trying to work out for 2025 and fitting in Salem into that mix.
Nice.
But there's a lot of opportunity for Salem. So, and listen, if you're ever in Salem on the weekends, mostly on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just walk down Essex. You're probably going to see us. I mean, we're there so often. If you see us, walk up to us, say hello. If you want a picture, get a picture. We'll sign whatever. We're very personable. Don't be afraid to approach us. We're always happy to meet new fans and new people. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Megan and I will be back in town at the end of May because we're going to go back up there for the Salem Vampire Salon.
Yes.
That we're going to do at the Gloucester Castle, the Hammond Castle in Gloucester. So we'll be back up there in late May. That's our next current planned trip to Salem. But yeah, dude, just keep me in the loop with your Salem shows and stuff like that, because you don't have to try very hard to get me to come back home and stuff like that. And that's the one thing that we haven't been able to do is do like a show in Salem. But one of the cool things as like a closing thing off of that, I don't know if you and the guys have done this, but I'm sure you're familiar with Count Orlok's Nightmare Gallery. It's it's by far my favorite wax museum just ever. I didn't know if you guys know about this, but they do like a secret tour thing there.
Really?
So they do secret tours. I believe it's like Saturday nights that they take you not only on your own private tour of the Nightmare Gallery, they take you into the basement where they've got a lot of hidden attractions, into the area where they keep a lot of the displays that are no longer on display, as well as ones that they're working on, a whole bunch of like specialty coffin collections that they have. But in the basement is an old bank vault that they turned into their own private like oddities thing. And you get a whole little tour of that. And it's like a secret society thing that they do, where you do a champagne toast that they let you keep the flutes on, as well as like a secret pin as well.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, dude.
Listen, let's try to see if we can link up when you're there at the end of May. Okay. My birthday is in the beginning of May, so maybe I can take like a birthday trip out there, and we'll do something. We'll link up and
sweet
and have some fun.
Sounds great, Chad. Absolutely, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for giving us some of your evening, man. As always, of course, congratulations on the continued success of Wicked. Before we officially wrap everything up, let everybody know where Wicked can be found.
Absolutely. So it's all social media at Wicked Rock N Roll. That's Wicked Rock, the letter N, roll. And then Wicked Rock N Roll official.com. You can find, all our videos, merch, tour dates, everything there at that website. You can even find the socials there as well. Make sure, to follow, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. The YouTube, we're always putting up, behind the scenes videos of our travels, and continuous new music videos. And obviously we have a lot of new music coming out in the very near future. One single coming out in the next 2 weeks. So make sure you follow those sites and give us some love. Give it a comment. We're always commenting back and giving, if you guys have questions, message us. Also at wickedrockandrollofficial.com, go all the way to the bottom of the website and subscribe to the newsletter. Every Friday we have a newsletter that has a whole bunch of information that you'll never see on social media. It's all behind the scenes stuff, and you'll get some exclusive content, pictures, and even some exclusive, media that you can listen to or watch. So something really fun for the fans.
Absolutely, man. 100%. Well, Chad, again, thank you so much for some of your time. Metal Summoners, thank you guys for joining us on our Thanksgiving holiday episode, rocking out with Wicked and having them back on the show. And make sure that you guys are following the Metal Summit on Facebook and YouTube in particular. That's where you're looking at Chad right now. That's where you're getting all the scoop on what's going on with Wicked. So make sure that you're subscribing to those pages, but definitely make sure that you're following the Instagram page for the Metal Summit as well. That's where we put out our initial guest announcements. So that's where you're going to see that first. You can find Angel at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram, as well as his Facebook. You can find me at Salem.vampire on Instagram. I also have a Facebook as well. Give a lot of love and support to Psycho Steve. You can find him at The Real Psycho Steve at Instagram as well. And you can also follow him at PsychoStevePresents.com as well. Thank you guys again for always tuning in and being so super supportive. Thank you again. And a little bit of love goes out to the Mad Shad for designing our intro. Thank you so much, brother. And again, thank you, as always, to the Wicked Camp. Thank you, Brent, and thank you, Chad, for giving us some of your Thanksgiving holiday to rock out again. And dude, we have each other's numbers, man. We'll stay in touch, and let's try to link up and have some fun, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, brother.
Always, man. You're always welcome. Anytime you need anything, hit me up whenever, dude. Even if you need 10 minutes if something popped up quick and you're like, hey, can we pop on an episode just to blurb this out? We're always going to say yes, bro. Don't be shy, man. Family looks out for family.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate it. Love you, man.
Love you, man. Absolutely, brother. Love you back, and we'll talk soon.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hell yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, Metal Summoners. We love you. Guest announcement over the weekend, and we'll see you guys in a week for a brand new episode. Thank you, as always, to the Wicked Camp and to Chad. As always, you've been watching the Metal Summit. Happy Thanksgiving.